everybody, Vigo'sShadow here, and today I'm here to talk about one of the new units that has dropped. It is a Shadow Festival unit, and it is Claire. Claire with the power in my left. Now, this unit seems like it's a pretty good one. Usually, any unit from the Shadow Festival is actually really good. So even like the first member alpha here from the Shadow Festival, this banner is only open for like beginners for like the first, or for 72 hours. This unit in itself is really good as well. So usually you could find a lot of like Shadow Festival units that are really good. But today we're gonna dive a little bit more in depth with Shadow Festival Claire. So yeah, let's get right into it then. Alright, so the first thing I like to do is just dip right into the stats. So if you want to compare base stats to other things, you can. So I'll let you pause if you want in the video to check out the stats here. I'll just go down to healing boost. You can check healing boost through overheal, nothing too special there. There's the position. And then that's their grouping for Sanctuary if you want to get that info. Alright, now let's head to the real fun part of the video. The abilities. So right off the bat with her ultimate, it sounds like a really good ultimate in theory. So it's Imitate Atomic. And what this does is, like, the biggest thing here is the 3,000, the whopping 3,000 damage on a single enemy. Which is, like, it'll probably kill a unit in arena. So, but even if you even get to the spot where you could do an ultimate skill. So, that in itself is going to be hard, like, for arena. But as for, like, questing and especially, like, events and stuff, this would probably be a really good skill. The only thing that you're going to have to watch out for is that drawback, that 30% damage on itself of the own HP. Now, especially if you use this, you have to be timing this ultimate very well, because if you don't, you could potentially get your unit killed very quickly. Especially if the boss follows up with like their own little ultimate, and then you just get wiped. So yeah, it's quite a significant drawback here. But when it's awakened, now that's even better, because not only are you doing 3,000 damage on a single enemy, you're inflicting 1,000 damage on all other enemies. Now this is just almost like Master Shadow's, which is like the best unit in the game, his atomic ability. And with his atomic, it does 4,000 damage on a single and 1,000 damage on all other enemies. Like, that in itself is really good. So Claire is just shy of 1,000% more damage on a single enemy than Master Shadow. Plus she's got the drawback of the damage on self, which does suck, yeah. But let's move on to her other ability. This one is Settle Down. It's a bleed skill, and it is 150% damage on all enemies, and it further inflicts 7% bleed. This is based off of a percent of the skill user's attack for 20 seconds. And then, so you inflict bleed on yourself for half the time, 10 seconds, and it is 8% of the skill user's attack. So this is more. This is only one stack of bleed, but it's more potent. It's gonna hurt more than the 7 stacks on an enemy, which does suck, yeah. Now when you get it awakened, it is the only change here you're seeing is just 50% more damage, which it does suck. It could be a better awakened ability, but more damage is always nice. Now we have Rock Smash, which is just like a standard 300% damage on a single enemy, and then it further inflicts 20% damage multiplied by total bleed effects, with the maximum percent of 400. So if you just take this value of the 7 times bleed that she's able to do with Settle Down, and times it by the 20, you get 140%, and it can. You can see where it's gonna stack high, like especially if you have this unit paired with Calamity Witch, or pretty much both the Auroras. This is a really strong unit, especially with this Rock Smash move, because at that point, then it's gonna do 300% damage and then the max would be 400, so that's 700% damage, which is a really nice skill. Now let's see what it's like when we awaken that. Now if we awaken it, it's the same thing, 300% damage, but it also inflicts 30%, so they up the percentage by 10, and it's 600%, so you can get up to 900% off of just a regular skill for damage, which is really good, and then it lowers the accuracy by 30% for 10 seconds, and I think that's towards the enemy, I believe, which would be nice. Lowering accuracy, like, it's always good to have like a bonus attribute with that. Alright, now let's go to our last skill here. It's called the Power in My Left. Now with this skill, when your own HP falls below 40%, you cancel all bleed effects on yourself and raise bleed resistance by 100% permanent. That is nuts. That means you can no longer have bleed stacking up on you, fully resistant to bleed, and it cancels all the effects that you previously had on bleed. So if it was in PvP, or I don't know too many enemies that cause bleed, but in PvP this is really good, because you're just fully resistant to bleed, and then you raise your damage inflicted by 100%, also permanent. Now I've seen other skills that have like raise your damage inflicted by 50%, and that's awaken, like near 50% awaken. This is like double, 100%. That would be absolutely nuts for like the damage potential when this skill activates, and this is even better when it's awakened, because that's 70%, and you're probably gonna fall below 70% fairly quickly, especially if you have like a full team of attackers and no healer. So this would probably be very good for events. And then when it's awakened, it also increases by 150 instead of 100, doing twice more damage. So just imagine the damage potential when you're raising the damage inflicted by 150%, plus you got her ultimate on top of that. Imitate Atomic. Like if you have Imitate Atomic here, and then you have that bonus 150% damage doing 3,000, is just absolutely nuts. So, and then this, yeah, so this skill, like the Power in My Left, is easily the best skill to be awakened. And if we check her awakening roadmap here, so we'll just go over their awakening roadmap real quick here. The Power in My Left is A1. So all you have to do is pull her twice and you get that A1 effect. And that A1 effect, that's easily her best awakening, which is excellent. So just getting this on her awakening roadmap is not bad at all. Then you have Settle Down for her A2, which is not bad, not the best one, because it's her bleed skill. And then A3 is where you get this Imitate Atomic Plus, and that allows you to get the 1,000 damage on other enemies, that inflicting that 1,000 damage, which is really good for questing, and yeah, potentially events too. But still, it's that 3,000 damage is really good, especially if you have it A1. So if you already have it A1 and you have A3, so if you have Claire A3, you got a really good setup already. A4 would be your magic slot, and A5 is that Rock Smash. That Rock Smash does have potential, especially since the max raises to 600% instead of 400%. Still, her base Rock Smash is not bad. Now, if you're trying to get the most value out of Claire, being an A5, you're going to pair it up with both Auroras and just cause the max amount of bleed as possible, just shredding through other teams. I could see this unit being like really good for PvP potential, especially if you have it A1. Like A1 is really good, or I mean, even if you get it to, yeah, just having it A1 is really good in itself. So, is this unit worth pulling? And is it worth pulling multiple times? My answer would be yes. This unit, especially since it's a Shadow-Fested unit, is going to be a pretty good pull, and it's a red attacker. So if you're kind of lacking on your red attackers, this would be the type of unit you'd want to pull. Especially if you have a Calamity Witch, you can do serious potential. So let's just go back down. So if you have either one of the Auroras, green or red, preferably red, the Calamity Witch here. Now if you have this and Claire, that's just a deadly duo waiting to happen. It is definitely worth it. So if you have Calamity Witch Aurora, it wouldn't be a bad idea to pull for this Shadowfest Claire, because not only will you be doing a lot of damage in questing and like different events too, as well as doing other events like Arma and some other stuff. This would probably be definitely worth the pull. I think I'm gonna pull it on my main account here for sure. But yeah, this one has serious potential. The only bad things I could say about the unit is inflicting bleed upon yourself, and then also the 30% with the ultimate. But the thing is, with the ultimate, it's hard to take up to the ultimate, and very rarely do you use ultimates in PvP anyway. So honestly, I think this one does have a lot of PvP potential, especially when it inflicts bleed upon itself, and then it just becomes fully resistant to bleed. If it's A1 and you're below 70%, you're going to be outputting a lot of damage, especially if you're pairing it with the Auroras. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Shadow Festival Claire. Definitely worth pulling for sure if you have bleed units, or if you're lacking on red. This is not a bad unit to go for. Alright, and that's about it. Vigo, signing off.